Hey, it's Becca here. Welcome again to my channel. In today's video, I've got some good news and some clarification for all immigrants who are in the UK. So if you can remember vividly, on the 5th of December, the Parliament of UK came out to state 5-point immigration plans or rules to curb net migration in the UK. And as you guys know that the UK is in a strong political era, and just as every other country, when there are going to be major elections or politics or change of power, these things are expected to happen. Just like it happens in my country, there are going to be decisions made here and there that might go in favor of a group of people or not. The government came out to lay 5-point immigration plans that was supposed to be used to curb immigration. But guess what? Somewhere, somehow, this 5-point immigration plans affected directly or indirectly everybody who was in the UK, either being it on a skilled worker visa, on a student visa, even the British citizens. Ask me why. Because there are some British citizens who are married to non-British, and they are looking forward to bringing them over or to renewing their visa in the UK. And if the salary threshold was raised, it means that they would also be affected. And I really acknowledge the effort of the Scottish Prime Minister that he put in addition to other people.
Once welcomed many immigrants, including my grandfather, to the country. In fact, they begged them to come and others to come to work in their factories, to drive the buses, due to the labour shortages that were seen at that time. And what successive UK governments have done, Labour and Conservative, is that they have bit by bit dismantled our immigration and indeed our asylum processes. And on immigration, the latest announcements mean that the UK government is asking migrants to come here to look after our own family members, but doing so by abandoning their own family members back home.
Listen, the NHS immediately came out to say that their workers or their staff are exempt from this dependent issue, meaning that if you are coming to work for the NHS, you were allowed to bring in your dependent. This is from the NHS employers website, which I am reading, published on the 5th of December. When the changes take effect, care workers and senior care workers will be unable to bring their dependents when they migrate to the UK, and only CQC registered providers in England will be able to sponsor health and care visa applicants. These changes do not affect the NHS. Following this news, we have been tracing to see, because in some of the things that were said, there was no clarity. People were asking questions. You guys were in my DM. I can't even know how to address this. They were asking, Becca, what if I'm in the UK already? What if my spouse is here with me? Can we bring our children? What time is this taking effect? Becca, what is the salary threshold? Becca, if I'm in the care home, am I affected? I myself didn't know some of the answers to these questions. But guess what? The Parliament has come out again with more clarity to some of the things that they have stated. There are some of the things that still needs clarity, which we are still waiting on. And people were, signing petitions, escalating it to say that no, you should look into this, you should look into that. And I'm so happy that they are considering some of the things and they are taking them into consideration. When we all heard the news, we panicked, guys. I panicked, although I have my family here already, but I kept calling my friends who were yet to bring their families. I was calling everybody in my contact list that I know in the UK who hasn't yet brought their families to bring their families, bring your families, bring your families. Oh, guys, we were all panicking. But there is some good news or some update or some clarity, which I'm going to be sharing in today's video. So stay tuned and watch this video right until the end. And if you still got any questions, put them in the comment section, guys, and let me see how best I can go about it. So the 5-point immigration policies that they made to curb net migration, which I've already shared, but I'll just quickly brush them over, is that social workers will not be able to bring their dependents, which is their partners and children, on their visa. The minimum baseline or the salary threshold for skilled worker visa was going to be raised from £26,200 to £38,700, except for those who are on health and care visa and people who are on national rate salary, like the teachers, etc., etc. There were also going to be changes made on the shortage occupation list, means we're going to be modifying some of them to meet the minimum salary threshold. Also, the minimum salary threshold for bringing in a spouse or a dependent was going to be raised from 18,600 to 38,700. This is the one that affected most of the British who were married to non-British, because if you want to bring your partner, even if you are British and you do not meet the 38,700 pounds, you cannot apply for your spouse or your dependent who are non-British to join you. And then the fifth one is that the Migration Advisory Committee was going to be reviewing the graduate visa route. So there are some changes that have been adjusted, and some good news for all of us, and some questions that I'm going to be answering. The first question is, when will the changes happen? They are saying that it's going to happen in next spring, but they are not sure whether it's going to be early next spring, mid next spring, or late next spring. As we all know, spring starts from March, which is officially the 19th of March. Spring begins and it ends somewhere in May. So it's like a 2-month period. They are not sure whether it's going to be the first week in spring, mid-spring, late spring, early spring, whatever. It is not definitive. But what they are saying is that they are going to be making statements of change. And so it's going to be like a 1-month notice period for these changes to take effect. So when we are approaching spring, they're going to be bringing out this statement of change, telling us the exact date. And after that, they are not going to give any further reminder. So when that date reaches, that is going to be taking effect. So that is point number 1, is clear. So they are going to be giving us a statement of change, which gives you a 21 days notice period for all these changes to take place. So when we are approaching there, we will hear the statement of change. And after that statement of change, at least 21 days, we should expect all of these changes to take place. You are wondering, is there going to be a vote in Parliament to either debunk these changes or not? They are saying that no, there are no active voting going to be happening once this has been implemented or once it's been agreed upon. If that the House of Commons or House of Lords actively vote or raise a concern, then it will be looked into, but otherwise nothing is going to be changing. So they are saying that if there is a debate on changes to the immigration rule, the proposed changes cannot be amended. They can either be accepted or voted down in their entirety. No further legislation is needed. It means that either the House of Commons or the House of Lords has a concern, and even if they do have a concern, they are either going to be voting it to come into full effect, or they are going to be voting it to be turned down entirely, but not to be amended. Next question is, my constituents will be extending their spouse and partner visa after spring 2024. Will the 38,700 threshold apply to them, or only for first-time visa applicants? So let's say, like, for we immigrants, you are in the UK already, you are due to change over your visa, you are due to switch over your visa, you are due to apply for your dependent to switch. You are asking, is this change going to affect you if you are in the UK already? And the answer is no. This change is going to be forward-looking. It means that it's going to be taking effect from only those that are yet to come into the UK after spring. Even if you are coming to the UK from now to spring, you are not affected. Once your leg has touched the ground of UK, before the spring that is going to be taking effect, you are not affected by this change. It's going to be forward looking. It means that only those that are coming from after the change is implemented, after spring, they are the only people that it is going to affect. So either you're in the UK already, you are looking to switch your visa or apply for a dependent visa extension, or you're looking for it to come into the UK before spring, none of these applies to you. You are still going by the old rule. It's only those that are coming into the UK after all these bucket changes have been implemented are going to be affected, okay? So it means that if you are coming to the UK after the changes have been implemented, then you are going to be looking at the £38,700 threshold for either bringing your dependents or for either visa extension, except you are in the NHS, Also, some people are asking, can I combine my husband and I? We are both in the UK. We are looking for it to extend. As I said, it doesn't apply to you. But if you're just wondering, if you are coming after all these changes and you are coming with your spouse or you want to come with your husband, how do you go about things? Will you still meet the 38,700 threshold? Will you be able to bring your children with this? All they are saying here is that if you are coming in the UK after the spring, these changes are going to be affecting you. And then if you're applying from overseas, you, the main applicant, you are the only person whose salary is going to be considered with this threshold. It means that if you are coming in initially, they are going to be looking at your salary, the 38,700. If you are not a nurse, if you are not a doctor, or if you are not under the health and care visa with the NHS, and you are coming into the UK, they will look at your salary as the main applicant, making sure that it meets that £38,700 if you want to bring your family. But if you are coming alone and you are coming on a health and care visa as a carer, they will not consider that. But when you've come into the UK already and you bring your spouse, or you have your spouse here with you, then you can do the joint application, or you can do the joint salary threshold. You can put your salaries together to make sure that both of your salaries exceed £38,700, and you can bring like your children. So you have to make sure that you provide pay slips, that evidence that this salary has been, achieved or accrued for the past 6 months. It means you've been paid this money for the past 6 months for you and your spouse. So what you can do here is that when you come in as the carer, let's say you're a carer, you come in through the NHS or through the care home with whatever salary you are coming with. You come in first, you want to bring your partner. You make sure that your partner also has a job in the UK already before they come. They can apply from overseas. When they've got that job offer, then you two can put your salaries together and bring your children if you want. So let me read what it says here. It says, when applying for the initial visa from outside the UK, only the sponsor's income will be counted towards the minimum income threshold. For extensions and permanent residents, both incomes are counted. So if you are in and you're looking for extensions and you're looking for permanent residents, then both of your incomes will be considered. But if you are coming in for the first time, it is only the main applicant whose income will be considered. People generally need to provide evidence of having earned that income for the past 6 months, although the exact rules are complicated. That is what they are saying. So we all know that these rules are complicated, and day in, day out, we will keep unfolding them one at a time. There are also some options for people who do not earn the minimum income, allowing them to qualify for the visa by other means, such as using savings above 16,000 or an exceptional circumstances. The Home Office says this will still be possible once the threshold rises. So if you're able to prove that you've got a savings of above £16,000, even if you do not meet this 38,700, you can still bring your dependents. It means that when you come in, you have to look smart, you have to work hard and save up to that 16,000. If your salary doesn't meet the 38,700, you can still bring in your family and your dependents. So all that they are saying is that whatever is going to happen, these rules are going to happen after it is implemented in spring. And also, if you are in the UK already, all these changes we are talking about or we've spoken about are not going to be applying to you. It means that you are exempt. The rule is forward looking. It applies to people who are yet to come into the UK, and we just need to relax and shoot your shot. We still have from now December, we've got January, February, March, which is over 90 days. You never know, they may even say that they are choosing the latter part of spring, which is late spring, to implement everything, which is going to be in May. So you roughly have about 4 to 5 months to still shoot your applications through. And as I've been doing on this channel, I've been sharing job opportunities not only for carers and nurses, because people are asking, is it only carers and nurses that are sponsored in the UK? No, other professionals are also sponsored in the UK, and which is what I have been sharing. And also, guys, be careful that any care home job you're applying for, especially if you're a carer, is regulated by the Care Quality Commission. At this point, there are over 14,000 care homes that are actually regulated by the CQC. It means that you still have a chance to shoot your shot. Do not give your money to anybody for them to bring you and leave you stranded and destitute, because this is now very, very common. Do things the right way. Apply for genuine jobs. Come into the UK and have your peace of mind. So they stated clearly that it's only senior carers and carers that are going to be affected by this change. If you're a carer or senior carer, you can't bring your family into the UK. If you're a nurse or a doctor, then you can bring your family into the UK. They are exempt, but if you're a carer or a senior carer, you can't bring your family. Also, there are some changes that they want to make to the post-study work visa. If you do not meet a GPA of a certain level, they're going to be terminating your study visa. It means that, let's say, for instance, just for an example, if your GPA is not up to, let's say, 2.0, they can decide to terminate your studies and, take you back to your country. All this is just to make sure that you focus on the reason why you came. If you know that it's the studies that you came to do, you can focus on the studies. Once you finish the studies, then you can switch on to the work visa. But you just have to concentrate on the studies. That also hasn't been implemented yet. They haven't really stated what GPA or what, academic level they are going to be looking into to dropping people from. But when we've got any updates, as we always do, I'm going to be sharing here on my channel for you guys to be updated. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do not panic, my people. As I said, Do not panic. All these are proposals. Things might be amended here and there. You never know. So let's still keep fingers crossed, hopes alive, and positive energy all throughout this journey until we arrive at our desired destination. As I always do, I share job opportunities here that you can also take advantage of. Shoot your shot whilst these changes have not been implemented. I wish you all the very best from your transitioning from your home country into the United Kingdom. And until we meet again in my next video, guys. Bye. Bye.